What is going on, everyone? My name's Boit, and I'm back with some more Age of Mythology. The Titans action spawning in the top of the map in the blue color, playing as Ra. His name is Grand Monster, but we know him better as Oden. His opponent today in the red color, playing as Thor. His name is IzJustJeff. This is the group stage of the competitive mega random tournament. We are getting down to the nitty gritty of the tournament, getting very, very close to the bracket stage. For those of you who are following on YouTube, for those of you who are following on Twitch, we are already in the bracket stage, and I am just trying to catch up because there were so many games. But we will get there, we will get through it, and we will enjoy the process as it happens. We have, for those of you who don't know Jeff is a streamer as well. He does stream his Thor gameplay from time to time, a Thor main, and a pretty strong player as well. He does pretty good in the team games, always comes through with some pretty clutch Ragnarok plays, and a pretty entertaining dude as well. Grand Monster, on the other hand, one of the players that came through vanilla. Very few Age of Titans players come through vanilla and end up being incredibly strong. Of those players, you have Rappel, you have Shadowfax, Grand Monster, myself, and a handful of other players played vanilla first and then played Titans and did well. But a lot of the times the vanilla players, the strategy is so vastly different that you just have to kind of pull the big reset plug and just go, okay, what else can I do? And then sometimes you get to execute some of that vanilla strategy that you learn, but very rarely does it really come to use here in Age of Titans, as things are very, very different. But we'll see what Grand Monster is going to come up with. He is picking Ra in this game, and it does seem like he's taking this tournament fairly seriously. A lot on the line here. It is a $1,000 prize pool in the end of the day, and like, you have glory, eternal glory, the first competitive mega random tournament. You can put that on your CV and go into McDonald's and say, hey, give me a job, I placed first. I mean, what? That's not what happens. Anyways, onwards and upwards. We do have a relic that's been spotted in the corner of the map here, the Pelt of Argus, the extra 6-unit line of sight. That's about it. And I'm sure there's going to be one other relic here, so let's just check that one out before we continue here. We've got the Bridle of Pegasus as well. This one gives us a Pegasus every 1 minute if you lose it. It's actually a really, really strong relic, and it is akin to basically the Oden unique ability of having ravens, except the Pegasus does cost a population or two, which is a little bit sad, but you know, it's still great to be able to scout out the map, especially for a Ra player, or even for a Thor player, to be honest. As Jeff getting his temple up, he's going to be really, really happy with this map. It's a sort of a narrow map, so that does favor the Egyptian just a little bit, but you can see it's a narrow map by looking at the mini map and seeing that the big white lines down the corners. But it's a high hunt map. He's got plenty of hunt all over here. He's going to be able to eat his opponent's hunt a little bit as well if Grand Monster decides to go for early farms here, as he has eaten his Aurochs. He's going to be moving over onto the chickens now. So yeah, he's going to be giving all of that hunt over to the Norse player, which does give the Norse player the best chance of having a really, really strong game here. As we see, IzJustJeff just about to advance. Now, one thing that I have been seeing from Norse players more and more against Egyptian is simply just saying, yep, I'm going to go for fast 2 town center because I don't see too much ability to put damage on. So there are a couple of different strategies you have to be fairly worried about when playing against Ra with Thor. The big one and the most obvious strategy you have to be worried about is the 1 town center fast mythic through Horus. Now, the way in which a Norse player beats this strategy without too much effort, and you only can beat this strategy if you know it's coming. The basic idea is you go for a fast 3 town center build. and you build your Herser, you stick them on your hunt, you stick them on your wood line, and then you basically have to hold your gold mine. So Jeff hasn't done this. The idea with holding a gold mine means you don't need to go out to a second gold mine, and you effectively just go 3 town center, take the hit to Tornado, hit Ragnarok, and go and kill your opponent. There's no way for, well, I mean, if their opponent is exceptionally good with distraction tactics, they might be able to survive, but there isn't an easy way for a Ra to go 1 town center, fast mythic, and defeat a 3 town center fast Ragnarok from a Thor player. There's not an easy way to do that unless they kill like somewhere in the vicinity of 25 plus villages. You're gonna have a good game there with Norse here, and we are seeing Thor coming through for Grand Monster, so it's not the 1 town center Bast strategy that I was talking about through Horus. We're probably going to be seeing a fast second town center coming up here for Grand Monster it's a little bit of a late advance time, but it's against Thor, so there's actually not that big of a problem where that's concerned. So we do see two barracks getting dropped down. Everything goes out the window here as Grand Monster just says, you know what? I don't care. We're going for a classical fight. This is vanilla style if I've ever seen vanilla style, and I absolutely love this from Grand Monster. The problem is that Jeff is almost hard countering it in a way. Now, the reason I say this is, if you're playing Norse, if an Egyptian player goes for a classical fight, the best way to play it is to grab a town center, get watchtowers, sit in your base, and just give your opponent map control. The point is that they've gone 1 town center, so you're getting the advantage from having your own second town center, and you can just sit back, get your economic advantage, and then just bulldoze the Egyptian army. And the Egyptian army cannot push into your base because you have watchtowers. They don't have the siege potential to push through those wall segments and houses you put around your towers. You're going to be in a completely fine position. The question here, though, is will Jeff know what to do against this? Because there is going to be a metric shit ton of spears coming out. We see 3 barracks here with rain. Grand Monster is going to be getting so much food economy in to support these spearmen, and he's just going to be running around the map searching for villagers to kill. There is a troll already on this position here, so has to push through that one a little bit. As we see the Jeff Herser moving forward here to try and defend his hunt just a little bit. The spearmen will be spotting this one right now as the Herser come in to say g'day. Grand Monster very quickly retreats away. He does have the 5.0 speed spearman compared to the 4.2 speed Herser here. As now we see some throwing axemen coming out. Grand Monster going to be regrouping here just a little bit, making a handful of axemen himself now as he needs those to deal with the Herser. Coming around the top side of the map now, going to be attempting to raid these villages here. He does definitely need to get that priest and pharaoh into his army here as soon as he possibly can, but there's so many good strong units here to deal with this, especially if you can get the Wadjet onto the troll. The troll does beat the Wadjet, I believe, 200 HP versus 260 HP, 12 damage versus 16 damage, 50 pierce armor versus 25 pierce armor. That armor tends to be a big differential in the equation there. As the troll retreating back, and the Ursa retreating back as well. And Jeff smartly just says, all right, into the base. He's got plenty of cows here. The difference between a cow and a hunt is big, but when you get husbandry, it gets less big. And then you also have to remember you're not walking to your hunt, and you're completely fine to just sit there and live the dream here. Do we see husbandry, though? Yes, we do. Jeff already on that husbandry, going to be living the dream here, and he is going heroic age. Jeff has reacted to Grand Monster's strategy here perfectly thus far. Already reacting over here as well, pulling his villagers back. The only thing that I would have liked to have seen differently here from Jeff is not casting Dwarven Gold Mine, because that is going to be a slight weakness here for Jeff. He does have a decent Gold Mine back here, and a hill fort on this position can be enough. But more houses coming up. Still no watchtowers here, though, for Jeff. So Grand Monster can get a little bit aggressive here as he is pulling these units nicely, going to be taking down some of those enemy units perfectly here. We are seeing that Jeff does have to retreat back, though, not really wanting to take a proper fight here. He does have a handful of throwing axemen out, though, so that's going to be a big help for him. And we'll see how he's going to deal with Grand Monster moving forward here in this game, as Grand Monster now looking to get to the next stage, getting himself his own second town center. Does he have an armory up? Yes, he does. And he will be advancing here as he drops off his gold. There he's going up through Hathor. Not getting all too much damage really for these units, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's bad. He just hasn't got that damage dealt just yet. And he's going to have to find something with those at some point here in this game. As Jeff now in the heroic age, we see a beautiful wall getting thrown up over here. He's already walled this side up. So this wall here protects these gold villages basically indefinitely. There's no way through here for Grand Monster until he gets that rock through. And that's going to be a bit of an issue though for Jeff. So one thing that I talk about is the way in which Norse deals with the rock is making sure his villagers are in a nice and defensive position, getting watchtowers, getting a hill fort on your second gold mine, and then at that point you can think about, or maybe getting the upgrade for your throwing axemen to deal with the rock, but you don't really need to do all too much for that rock. Just leave a frost giant back there and kind of be okay where that's concerned. So we'll see if that's what Jeff is going to be doing here when he sees the Hathor. Sharp Mine coming through as well for Grand Monster. Heavy infantry coming through for Jeff. A little bit of housing crisis here for Jeff as he's trying to throw those up as fast as he can. But 42 villages, not as big of an advantage here as one would have thought, considering how much earlier Jeff got his second town center up than Grand Monster did. So got to be happy about that position that that Grand Monster's managed to maintain here after being so slow on that second town center. And now we will be seeing Grand Monster making an incredibly aggressive move here with his villagers to get this Migdol stronghold up. As the rock comes forward, picks up the Patsukos, I'm going to be searching for something to take out. These villages on this location, very, very dangerously positioned here. With a tower over here, you can just live on this wood line here. Tower, get that upgrade, going to be fine. We do see a frost on this position here from Jeff as he's going to be putting a stop to the Migdol stronghold. A very, very aggressive usage here from Jeff. He spots the 9 villages, so that's a lot of idle time there on the villages, and he's going to be throwing up his own hill fort on this front though to try and get access to this gold mine. This is incredibly aggressive though from Jeff at this point here. We'll see if it's going to work. He doesn't really have the answer to the infantry-based army that Grand Monster's got just yet, but with this Migdol up, it might be enough to push these ones back. We are seeing Grand Monster attempting to utilize this rock, getting some good damage done. Villagers making their way up to the top side of the map here. Jeff playing with fire there, going for that gold mine, but Grand Monster's got no idea that that's what's happening here, and taking that risk might be enough as the rock going to fly over here, going to head to this gold mine, hit a little bit of damage here and try and get a big locust is going to be the best idea here as we see Jeff wandering forward, trying to catch these villagers as they're retreating away here. We do see the units turning around, and this is going to be a huge amount of dead villages here though for Grand Monster, but Grand Monster smartly utilizing that shifting sands to pull back onto this gold mine where he's getting his Migdol stronghold up. And Jeff says, all right, I'm out. No problems here. We do see the Patsukos getting dropped down over here on this position. A little bit too far away to get some damage done. I think that the Grand Monster wanted to be here, but there is already a Hearser on this position to defend that one there as the town center getting shot up over here. Grand Monster probably going to be going for Chariot Archers here, which does allow Huskal to be coming in as we see a Locust getting dropped, and Grand Monster completely whiffs here. Thor players absolutely rejoice as Jeff says, not today, Sonny Jim. I am completely fine and happy with that one. Very, very lucky, but love to see that. One thing that I hate more than anything is seeing a stray Locust picking off more than, say, like 4 villages and getting 0 villager kills with a Locust. That feels good. All the Ra haters out there rejoicing, to be sure here, as a Jeff is going to be motoring ahead. I wouldn't be surprised. Well, is he going 4 town centers here? I was going to say I wouldn't be surprised to see Jeff going up to Ragnarok here. And this would normally give Grand Monster an opportunity here to hit some sort of a mythic timing, but Grand Monster's economy is absolutely shot here after that frost has come down, the early rain onto his villages, onto his farms, with only however many farms this was. Jeff probably making a good decision here. Going to be getting his town center up, getting even more resources and more villages, and a huge Ragnarok is 100% on the way here. Where are these villages going though? They are a little bit lost. Get back to work. Where's your market? Does he have a market somewhere? No, we do see the Rock. Going to be checking out this gold mine, though, seeing no villagers on this one. And this gold mine, this sneaky gold mine here is looking like a little bit of a really, really good choice from Jeff. As we see the throwing axeman throwing down that market there. And he has a lot of gold in the bank, definitely enough to buy his way to the Mythic Age. And this is 100% Jeff's strategy. If you ever playing any sort of team game with Jeff, he is going for as many town centers as he can, as many villages as he can, and the fastest Ragnarok he can possibly pull off, the biggest Ragnarok he can possibly pull off. It's 100% Thor strategy. We even see, I love this, ox caravans coming through. I say it once, I say it a million times. If you're going for a Ragnarok, make sure you get out a handful of ox caravans. Super important. We are seeing this town center now going to be getting taken out, though, as Jeff a little bit out of position here. He is moving his throwing axeman over here, but with only one siege tower, might not be enough to kill this town center off here. We see over here this Jarl getting taken down, and Jeff now able to advance through Balder if he so chooses, going after this siege tower here nicely, though. Little known fact, the throwing axemen deal hack damage, and while it's only 5.4, the siege tower has next to no HP, next to no hack armor here, as Balder is the god of choice. Fortified town centers, irrigation coming through as we see the siege tower getting taken out. The town center doing its best job at trying to keep itself alive here for Jeff to advance, and we're seeing more units kind of just roaming around the map. Plenty of villages right now for Jeff. Fortified town centers about to come through 33% of the way, and this is just effectively mass throwing axemen from Jeff. He is just saying, look, I don't need anything right now, just mass throwing axemen to deal with mass chariot archers here. And does he have himself? No, he doesn't. I was gonna say, if he has himself Huntress axe, these throwing axes start becoming a little bit scary, as we see the other siege tower getting pushed back here, and Grand Monster is looking a little bit out of sorts here in this game, as Jeff is giving him the business right now with some incredibly defensive, incredibly strong play. The fortified town center about to pop, and we've already got ourselves 4 ox caravan here. So even if Chrono JJ, just casted a Chrono JJ game, even if Grand Monster here can hold the Ragnarok, it's not over, because there's going to be a fire giant follow-up with all of the gold that comes in from those ox caravans. And Grand Monster pulling back. We're seeing him try and pull up a Migdol stronghold. Grand Monster has to know that some sort of a Ragnarok is on the way. 180 population, 75 villages, 6 ox caravans, fortified town centers. Going to have a ton of resources in the bank to get upgrades through. He's getting himself bronze shields here. I would love to see bronze shields, bronze mail at the very least. He can definitely click Ragnarok right now. There's no point in waiting for it. He might be wanting to get himself a Titan, though. That's the only other thing here. Something that Jeff definitely does love is that that reassurance that he can push through and kill off his opponent with the Titan, I mean, it makes a lot of sense. And there's the Ragnarok here. You can actually buy the extra 100 wood if he so chooses and click Ragnarok. As we see the villagers moving forward all over the map, going to be surrounding this location. There's 2 Migdol strongholds. We're starting to see watchtowers coming up. I don't think the Grand Monster realizes exactly how many villagers are coming for him, or Rag here is. It's 324. I tell a lie. Grand Monster knows exactly what's coming for him, as he sees the 6 of the Titans coming through as well. And Jeff has got so big of an army. Unfortunately, we don't get to see the destruction here. But Jeff, hard countering. Absolutely hard countering Grand Monster's strategy here. Going for the barracks. Jeff goes for an incredibly fast second town center and really puts a big stop to Grand Monster's strategy. This type of a raw classical fight is super vanilla style, and the big difference between what the vanilla strategy and meta is versus what the Titans strategy and meta is that when you go in one town center play in the classical age on the Titans, you advance fast. You got to go fast. You go in, you push, you use your special, your free myth unit, you attack early and you attack hard. In vanilla, everything's a little bit slower because the players just don't kind of do the most optimal thing because of reasons. So there's that, but I know Grand Monster is kind of aware of Titan strategy. Just this delayed classical fight kind of only really works if the Norse player is going for one town center, almost standard raiding cavalry play. And Jeff just completely reads it like a book, and literally strategically here, Jeff played this one near perfect. Really, really well played. If you guys enjoyed this game, please consider hitting follow on the Twitch. If you're on the YouTubes, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next game.